Hello, family. Hello, hello. GMB Pros on a Tuesday with Matthew and Drew. Double hitter today. Double hitter. Yes, sir. So, as a lot of we're coming on to the new year. So, I kind of want to set some of this stuff up for sales goals, make sure that we can grow our agency, get into the 2024 with some momentum. Um, and we've been kind of experimenting with Drew, and he's been showing us over the shoulder on how to do LinkedIn scraping to get our calendars full, to get our packages out there. So today we kind of wanted to lean more towards that like sales side of it. And Drew wanted to kind of share how we can kind of start connecting the dots with the sales part of it with LinkedIn, scraping, and basically connecting the dots from start to getting on the phone and sales and whatnot. So with that said, Drew, my man, how you been?
Good, good. Yeah, thanks for having me back, like always. So first things first, if you have not gotten access to the LinkedIn dashboard yet, I'm going to drop a new link here for us. So go ahead and click that link, fill out that form. I'll get you approved in a couple days. Also at the same time, throughout, I'll drop some other links. So if you need to do a one-on-one call with me or my team, as well as we have a special offer at the end of this one that you guys will like too. So want to introduce Matthew Morales. He's my direct business partner, and brought him on here today to do a special chat about sales. We want to go over some sales strategies. This is more of an introduction. We're going to kind of break this into two parts. So part one is going to kind of go over the process. Part two, we're going to dive a little deeper next time. So we'll schedule another class with that, but we'll dive into scripts and things like that too. But Matthew, if you want to give a little bit about you.
Yes. Hello, everyone. For everyone that already knows me, hi, good to see you again. For everyone that does not know me, my name is Matthew Morales, author of Never Be Poor Again, business partner of Drew here at Let Us Dream Marketing. We love to teach as many classes as we can around lead generation, sales, marketing, all of that stuff. That's a big passion for ours. So it's really, really good for us to be here, and we're really excited to teach this class today. So thanks for coming back.
Yep. Absolutely. So we're not going to do death by PowerPoint. I know a lot of people do that. So we're going to make this very conversational. That's a style that me and Matthew like to do, just a little back and forth. We might share a screen at some point, but we'll try and make this a little conversational for you guys. I will be dropping some stuff in the chat too. Like we might drop some questions and things like that. Some ideas of qualification questions, which we'll get to that point in just a few, but feel free to, I guess, Alfredo, reshare those in the comments as well. Okay. But Matt, if you want to kick it off.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, everyone. So today you're really going to want to tune in. We are going to get into the nitty and gritty of what it takes to make a great sales call. And the most important part about that is that it has nothing to do with the sales call. Okay. That's where sales starts. Sales starts before the sale. The secret is if you can qualify so good that you know how much money they have, what they need, what problems they're having, and what solutions you can give them to solve their problems before you get on the call with them, then the sales call becomes easy. You don't need salespeople. You don't need all this fancy, crazy stuff. But we're still going to show you what to do when you get on that sales call regardless. But that's the secret. The truth is gigantic companies are qualifying people. All right. They used to do guerrilla marketing. Guerrilla marketing was gigantic. It was huge. But guerrilla marketing is equivalent to throwing your money at the wall. That's why social media, Google, all of these companies have dominated the advertisement market because they completely changed the way marketing existed by adding demographics to everyone's capability. You, me, everyone has the ability to do demographics and qualify. So you need to learn the art of qualifying before you ever get on the sales call. And there's going to be 3 parts to that. So the pre-qualification, then you're going to get on the first call, which is going to be an introduction call or a discovery call. And then you're going to close them. Like Drew likes to call it the 2-call close. Everyone's trying to get that 1-call close. You don't need the 1-call close. The 2-call close. Build value. Drew, anything you want to add?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I've been noticing over the last year, really, and I wonder if, I'm curious, is it because of COVID and everyone being used to being on a Zoom call all the time? It's kind of changed a little bit. I don't know if you guys, if you guys in here want to give some feedback when you're on a sales call, are you noticing it's not 1 call anymore? It starts to turn into 2 or 3 calls. I'm finding it's not a simple lay down. It's a little bit more difficult to get a 1-call close. So why not give into that a little bit? Don't fight it, give into it. So restructure your process. Qualify before you get on the first introduction call. And you want to do so by pre-qualifying it. You could do it a couple different ways, but ask questions while you're prospecting. Ask those hard questions before you actually book that call, and that'll give you a leg up on that section.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to add something to that too.
Go ahead.
I notice those 2-call closes, or one that you build a relationship with, right? Hey, do we click? Do we vibe? Listening, right? So with those questions, with the questions is, are we listening to those red flags and listening for dequalification, right? Because I promise you guys, if we don't, as you know, depending where we're at with our journey, and even if we're like advanced and have a good little like stable MRR, those, if we don't pay attention to your gut feeling, those questions and listening for red flags, they always, almost always come back to bite you in the butt. Especially like, boom, you close them right away, and boom, they cancel right away, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I noticed the more we build relationship, the longer lasting, the less miscommunication. It's a relationship, right?
Exactly. And you know, those things become obvious in that first call too. So you're going to notice that a person who is cheap on the first call, who doesn't care on the first call, who's disorganized on the first call, that's going to be your whole relationship. That's going to be the whole relationship with that customer. There's been times where Drew and I have gotten into arguments on whether we should take a client or not because they had good money, but there was too many red flags. And we're like, oh man, but they have, you know, we can fix it. We can work these things. And just over the years, we just learned, just stop. Just go with your gut. Look for the red flags, pre-qualify and figure it out. Because if they can't afford your stuff, you don't want them. If they're disorganized, they're not going to finish the project, right? If they don't show up on time, they're not going to do the deadlines. They're not going to reach out to you, get to you on those deadlines. So these are important things to notice when you get started. And these are what the bigger companies are doing in the first place. They're just doing it in different ways. And then I want to point out one version of pre-qualifying that you might not even think of. And it's these videos, these classes, these groups, these things. If people are taking action and stuff like this, right? They're watching, they're learning from us. You guys are learning from us. These are ways that you can qualify in the future. Oh, this is a learning person. I just qualified you as a person who is coachable. Okay. So these are ways you qualify people is through social media. All right. And Drew, you wanted to jump back in?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I want to start breaking down, what does that process look like? You know, how do you pre-qualify? What are different ways that we can pre-qualify? Like you said, groups and settings like that, asking questions while we're prospecting. That's really the main thing. Before the sales call, we want to qualify so good that we don't need a salesman on the sales call. And what does that mean? Matt, if you want to jump back in.
Can you have a salesperson? Of course. The goal is you don't need to have a salesperson. The point is, if that person called in, for some reason they decided to call in, the accountant can answer the phone and close that sale because that person received so much value before then. They received so much value and they know they need your product. So by the time they talk to any single person in your business, that should be able to be a done deal. Okay. And we have one person on our team who is absolutely not a salesperson. But if they get on the phone with one of those people who have been pre-qualified, it doesn't matter. All he has to do is take a credit card. That's it. Just ask for the sale. And it's closed. So that's what it means. That's what we mean. We're not telling you not to get a salesperson. We're telling you that you don't need to go on and get a salesperson. You don't need to become a master salesperson if you get really, really good at qualifying first. Okay. And that should be your first skill. It's a skill in prospecting. It's a prospector skill. Some of you are bigger than others, and some of you are going to be able to afford a prospector, and some of you are the prospector. So this is something you need to know for yourself and for the people that you may hire. Okay, so we're going to break that down now. So now that you're doing a pre-qualification, how can you pre-qualify? We already said social media is a pre-qualification. Asking questions. Where can you ask questions? You can ask questions on forms and surveys. You can ask questions before the call by having it right on your calendar. You can do it through emails. Okay, we had one where Gabe went onto someone's website, asked them a question through their form, someone responded, he had a whole conversation with them, asked them for a referral for the owner, introduced them to the owner, and we got the sale. All right, so he qualified that person through an employee and qualified the business. And once again, Gabe is not a salesperson. He will tell he is not a salesperson, but just because all he did was ask these questions, he was able to close these sales. And this is the beauty. It's one sentence. All right, we're going to talk. It's one sentence. These questions we're going to give you. All right, and we're going to give you a list of questions you can ask these people. They're one sentence questions. All right, their emails that you're going to send these people are one sentence long. If you send them a TikTok message, one sentence long to pre-qualify. You hold a conversation through these one sentence questions. All right, and so we're going to start going through some of these questions right now. Or Drew, did you want to give more ideas on places that you can pre-qualify?
Well, yeah, I mean, really, if we want to tie this back to LinkedIn too, in your LinkedIn strategy, you can do more of an indirect approach where you start qualifying, right? Remember before I talked about indirect versus direct, and there's two different approaches. You could do a guerrilla marketing style, which is how we run most campaigns on LinkedIn if we're just going after a particular service. Like if I want a website sale, let's do a little bit more of a direct pitch, right? Or SEO in particular. But if you want to really, 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 really niche down and pre-qualify all of your conversations, you can do an indirect approach and ask these questions in a conversation on that strategy on LinkedIn, to start to pre-qualify. So you've already captured all of that before even booking the call. So one of the first questions that we'll even ask, number one here, let me drop that real quick. May I ask how your lead generation is organized?
Right. I realized I wanted to say something important too. For anyone who's like, I'm not a script person. Right? I need to say this is important. I'm not a script person. I don't need to follow scripts. Scripts are stupid. They're robotic. Let me tell you something. That's everything I used to say too. Okay. And then I realized something when I went into acting class. When I went into acting class, they gave us scripts. And they gave us a script with one sentence. Okay. And we had to read the sentence with no emotion. For example, where were you last night? Now, imagine that question. Where were you last night? From father to daughter. Where were you last night? Now imagine it from wife to husband. Where were you last night? Now imagine it from a person to God. Where were you last night? That one sentence can have 1,000 meanings and feelings. So if you want to tell me it's robotic, you're wrong. Okay? It's wrong. It's empathy. And this is why. There's a series of steps that you can take to succeed. And if you remember to follow all those steps, every single time you will succeed. And one way to do that is to have those steps written out, a script that you don't forget, so that no matter what happens, you don't forget what questions you need to ask. You can remember the script because you remember the intention behind the script, and you can say it 100 different ways, and it never feels robotic. You can change the way it feels every single time. You can change the words, and the meaning is still exactly the same. Okay, scripts are important because if someone jumps in a room in the office and now you skip 2 questions and you just forget, it kind of throws you off. Then you just can't qualify or can't close this deal. But if you have it set in stone and you never forget it, it doesn't matter what happens. It'll always get done every single time. And if you need those 7 questions to close your deal, you will always remember those 7 questions. So a script is not robotic. If you memorize it enough and practice it enough in a way that every single time you can deliver it authentically. Okay. So now let's get to the script, because you can say it however you want, authentically to you. All right. Sorry, go ahead, Drew.
No, love it, love it. That's a great point. And I always say, to me, they're not scripts; they're sales guides, right? They're bullet points that I can follow and make sure I remember to hit those points, right? Absolutely. So, for example, one of the questions when we're prospecting that we might start with is, may I ask how your lead generation is organized, right? And don't get me wrong, you can do this to the owner, the president, the CEO, the director of marketing, the sales rep, the manager. It doesn't matter who you're talking with. You can start this conversation to any employee at that business and work your way up to whoever you need to get on that introduction first call with, right? So, but let's just say we're talking to the owner. May I ask how your lead generation is organized? What happens next, Matt?
Exactly. So you're going to try to hold a conversation on this with 1 sentence at a time, 1 sentence statement. Oh, that's phenomenal. Would you, who's in charge of making those types of decisions? And then they say, oh, I'm in charge of making those types of decisions. Great. Would it be a waste of time to discuss your high-end accounts to see how we could help you? Oh, no, I don't think that'd be a waste of time. Awesome. What challenges are you currently facing acquiring high-end accounts? So, right, I'm kind of leading them towards a path. And obviously this path right now has something to do with marketing or lead generation. You can kind of tell where the path is going. So I'm guiding them somewhere. These are 1 sentence statements. Now, once again, okay, you can do it on their website. You can reach out to them. You can hit them up on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. You can send them a text message if you have their phone number. These are things you can email. Okay. This can be used anywhere and it can be tailored to you. Just the idea is learning everything about that business so you can offer them a solution. And if you can't offer them a solution, just walk away. Don't invent a solution. Don't be ridiculous and start inventing things inside of your business, which are going to cost you more resources. Okay. So, Drew, what's that next question?
Let's see. Would that be number 4?
Yep.
Right. So what challenges are you currently facing acquiring high-end accounts? Right. And don't forget, you can change the words, right? But if we're looking for, like, for example, if we're prospecting towards larger companies, that might be a great question to ask.
Mm-hmm.
And what challenges are you currently facing acquiring more projects? Would be something for like contractors, for example, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter where we're changing the end part, but we want to start catering the conversation, asking questions about marketing in general. We're looking for a problem, right? We're looking to start that because they're going to reveal something to us, even if it's a sales rep. Oh man, I'm not making enough money, right? Oh, why? Why aren't you making enough money? Oh, I'm just not getting enough leads during the day.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not on the phone long enough, right?
Where do your leads come from? Right. And then the salesperson's like, oh, they come from me. They come to me through email. They're coming from this program. Oh, do you know who's in charge of getting those leads and how they come in? Right. So you're just having a normal conversation. We're just having a normal conversation. So this little conversation, we're qualifying. Okay. The other thing is too, I remembered one more, Drew, that we didn't even think of. The audit. You can add all these questions to the audit. Okay. A lot of your audits that a lot of people are doing, okay, are garbage. Why? Because they're obviously for you to make a sale and not to solve a problem. Make your audits solving their problem, not closing a sale. And you will close more deals. I promise. But almost everyone's audit has nothing to do with solving my problems. Okay, so that's important. So these are questions that you can ask that you can get real problems they're facing so you can give real solutions.
And if you guys were here for some of my previous videos, I talked about, the way that I approach jobs from not necessarily, hey, I'm going to do an SEO service for you, or hey, I'm going to build your website, or hey, I'm going to do your advertising. I evaluate their marketing funnel to find what is the broken bottleneck or the broken link. What is the weakness in your marketing funnel from top to bottom that I can fix? And how do I find that? I do that through an audit. I don't do that through an SEO audit that shows what's wrong with your website. I do that through an overall evaluation of your entire marketing funnel as a whole. Because maybe it's your website that's giving the issues. Maybe the user experience on that website is causing everything else to be off, right?
And then you give them something tangible. Okay. And then you give them something tangible, like a way out, a solution, an answer, right? Even a product that gives it, you have to give them that. But the problem everyone faces, the problem a lot of people do is they give them, like I said, they just give them the audit. They just give them the audit and they're not really like trying to solve that problem. But you need to give them something tangible so that they can physically feel that they've received something. Okay. A marketing plan is good, but it's and even that in some cases isn't tangible. So find something really physical you can give them where they can feel like they got actual physical value from your audit.
Yep. And I'm not saying to not add that portion in there, like still run your performance audits and give them the real data, like, hey, you're not ranking for this keyword or whatever, right? Still put that in there, but find a way to give more, right? Give them something extra with that as well.
Give them exactly. Give them more. Think about it. It's for them. This isn't for you. It's for them. And if you can't solve their problem, you're going to lose their job in 2-3 months anyway. So why do that? Okay. So let's go to the next question. Next question. Do you already have an internal marketing team? Do you already have an internal marketing team? Did you already hire an external marketing team? Do you currently have any high-end accounts? And like Drew said, you're talking to a salesperson. Hey, you have any high-end accounts? Oh yeah, I have high-end accounts. Oh, who's your high-end account? Oh, my high-end account is this, and it's $5,000 a month. You're like, okay, well, to you that might not be high-end, and to someone else it is. Or it's like, do you have any high-end accounts? And they're like, yeah, I have Disney. And you're like, whoa, this guy has a whale, right? So you can get that deep information, even if it's just from a salesperson. You can get great information from these questions. Okay.
Yep.
Another question. What are some of the systems you have in place right now for acquiring new high-ticket clients? What are the systems you use? How does it work? So, Drew, what's the next one?
Yep, absolutely. What are your main frustrations while acquiring them? Or what are your greatest challenges? What's most important to you? What do you spend your money on? Do you currently use any CRMs to manage these clients? So this is where you start to dive a little deeper into the problem, into the frustrations, right? So we're trying to uncover that pain point at this step.
Exactly. What would an ideal solution look like to you? So now here's the thing. I want you to think about this question, how important this question is. What would an ideal solution look like to you? I literally just said to you, what would make you feel resolved? What would solve all your problems? Like what is the thing I can give you? This is the answer. This is the key. What are you willing to pay for? What would an ideal solution look like to you? What would solve all of your business's problems? These two questions right here are so powerful because they're going to tell you. And if you can solve it, they're telling you they will pay to solve that problem. So all you have to do is figure out how much. So okay, well, what's the decision-making process for taking on acquire high-end accounts, right? How much could you realistically spend on a marketing campaign if it solved every single one of these problems? So your problem is you need more clients. The clients that you do have, there's no system to follow up with them. And you have organic traffic, but it could be better. So if I could give you more organic traffic, bring you high ticket leads, and fix your pipeline, would you willing to spend $50,000 on that? Yes, I would. Great. So you give them the timeline. If I can do that within 6 months, would you be willing to buy it? Yes, I would. Right? So you can solve their problems with questions. And they'll tell you, they'll give you the answer. And that's really good right there, is that power of getting those answers, the correct answers, the ones that help them and help you. How much could you realistically spend on a marketing campaign if it solved every single one of these problems? And you list out those problems that they mentioned. Okay, so if I could solve all these problems, I could get you new customers, I could fix your pipeline within 6 months, you'd be willing to spend $50,000 and sign up today? Yeah, great. Thank you. Done. Send them the invoice. All right. So that's the beginning. That's the pre-qualifying. And then now we start moving into the 2-call close, the first half being the intro. So go ahead, Drew. You want to take over on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So now the one part, that transition, right? So we got all of our questions out of the way. You don't have to
Hey,
ask.
Drew,
Yeah,
real
go
quick
for
to
it.
interrupt.
Sure.
This whole like pre-qualifying, how long should that take? Is that like, I know it's conversational. I mean, if we're trying to build that relationship, is it bam, bam, quick? Are we trying to, time-wise?
Let me
Great question. Well, I was just going to say, this is before the call, right? This is still during the prospecting phase. Okay. So this is leading up to your booked appointment. All right. And that's a great question. So that's really, I mean, sometimes every single one of these questions, if you're doing email, that could be back and forth emails. That could take a little bit of time. Don't be afraid to let that take some time. Nurture the relationship. What are you going to say, Matt?
And yeah, I was going to say that typically when you're doing these things, remember there's going to be the two sides. If you're going after a whale, understand that this is going to be a 2-month process. And if you get really, really good at it, it becomes a consistent 2 months every single time. It becomes predictable. That's the goal. The goal is for it to become predictable. You know how long it's going to take, and it's going to be different for you every time. So now you know it takes me 2 months before I get them on a sales call. And I get 10 of these a month. Therefore, if I sell 2 of these, I will make this much every single month for the next year. You know exactly how much money you're going to make for the next year. Specifically because you've planned out this process right here, the qualifying process. It's going to be slightly different for everyone. Someone who's smaller, this might be a week. If you're talking to them on TikTok, it might be a day, right? If you're talking to them on Facebook Messenger, this might be a 2-day process to a 7-day process. But if you're going after a whale, expect this is going to be a 2-month process, and that you're going to move into asking for them for the bigger person inside the business. You're going to ask for what's called the internal referral. That's something we're going to teach in that next call and get way, way deeper in, right? And get into that. But that was a phenomenal question. You need to be patient for this stuff, because it becomes predictable. And if you start doing it today, yeah, it might take 2 months, but now you have 2 months, 10 in 2 months, and 10 the next 2 months, and you know exactly how much it is every single time.
Yep. And Alfredo, I think you mentioned earlier on in this conversation that you've noticed building relationships prior gives you an extra leg up, right? Tell us a little bit about that.
1000%, guys. So, some of the times when I'm on the call with them, one of my questions is, what have you done? What have you tried before? Oh, I tried this other company. So I'm with William, we deal with a lot of white label companies and some direct business owners. So with those direct business owners, oh yeah, I worked with this other company. They did nothing of what they said they were going to do, right? Okay, how long did you work with them? Oh, a month. And it's like, bro, okay, so that's like red flag, right? So what does that look like to me later on is, and it's happened to me guys before, is okay, we get them onboarded, okay, we started this, and literally maybe 2 3 weeks into it, hey, I don't see results, right? But I caught that back in that pre-qualification. Well, wait a minute. So, you work with them for a month. Why do you think I'm your solution? My process is a 30, 60, 90 days. Are you okay with that? Are you okay with maybe 90 days from now, we still don't have results, but you have to be patient for that extra time. Are you okay with that? So now you're like managing expectations, right? Versus that, like, and I've had those calls, Alfred. I get it, especially with the white labels. It's a process, but I trust in your process. The guy's like, I'm not gonna call you. I know what you're doing works. Here's my credit card, and literally, it went down like that. I onboarded the guy. In fact, he just emails me GMBs to just, hey, work on this one next. Just bill me. Work on this one next. Just bill me. Right. But it's those pre-qualifications of those red flags that I noticed down the line, that they're constantly calling you. Those, like Matthew said, they're cheap on the call now. Like, what's my discount now? Well, guess what? Hey, they're gonna still try to get more discounts later on in the road. It's the temple of the relationship. I've literally told people, I don't think I'm for you. I'm more expensive. I'm not the cheapest out there. I get it. I'm not for everybody.
Exactly.
And
I
they're
want
like,
to
whoa.
I want to add that I love that you said managing expectations, because I think that's a big thing a lot of people don't realize. Once again,
Mhm,
the sales call is not for you. Okay, the sales call is
mhm,
not for you, it's for them. So, key point: when do you manage expectations? On the sales call, because that's what it's for. That's the only reason a sales call exists, is to manage expectations. They expect you to do something, and you expect to receive something, but you need to agree on what that looks like. Okay, that's what it is,
mhm.
managing expectations. And so on that sales call, and we're going to talk about that, how you close your sales call really well, is you're managing your expectations by telling them what they get, but just as importantly, what they don't get. And a lot of people forget to do that. What do you not get in this service? I give you SEO and I will make you some basic social media, but I will not do videos for you. I will do videos for you and I will post them for you, but I will not do copywriting, right? Like, they need to know. This will take 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. You will not see results for 6 months. If you expect to see results in 1 month, then I am not for you. That is the only point of a sales call. And if you can keep that in your mind, then it'll help you, because the point is to educate them and to solve their problems by managing expectations. And they're also going to be managing expectations as well, right? They're going to expect that I gave you a certain amount of money and that they paid for a certain thing and you're going to deliver on the things. So they need to know what those things are and what those things aren't. Okay. And so we're going to talk about actually how to make that happen and make your sales call really, really good. So the intro, that qualification call, I know we don't have a lot of time, so we'll kind of push through this part. It's not a big deal. We've already been qualifying. The qualification is the most important part. So now we get on an intro call or a discovery call with them. And it's just this little friendly back and forth. And we're kind of just clarifying the things we already learned in conversational form. Okay, yeah, I saw that. You said you don't have an internal marketing team. What's that look like? And you're just kind of requalifying and reconfirming these things while preparing them for the strategy call, the sales call, the actual call. Okay.
Now
And
there's, oh,
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I was just gonna say there's two good reasons why we're doing this, because you might have a prospecting team that is different than your sales team, or you might have prospectors and then you take your own sales calls, right? They're going to pre-qualify for you, book the appointment, then hand it off to you. You want to go on to and introduce yourself and re-qualify them by reviewing the information that you've already gathered from your prospector or your form or your own conversation, whatever that might be. And now we're just taking this call number one here, 10 to 15 minutes at most. That's it. And then book your main sales call.
And ask them to have everyone that's important in making that decision on that call. That's the other point. So I see that you're not the only person involved in making this decision. When we schedule this meeting, I would like to schedule it for next week on Friday or Monday, if those days are available. Would you be able to have the business partners that are necessary for this decision on that meeting, right? That's the point of this. Okay, so that's the point of the intro call. It's 10 minutes. Confirm data, book it, say you're going to get to meet the owner, you're going to get to meet my team, whatever you have to do. That's how you're going to phrase it. But then you're going to get onto the actual sales call. And as Drew and I said earlier, okay, you don't need to be good at sales if you pre-qualified them really well. So the sales call is going to have two halves. And then, of course, you're going to close it. But the first half, okay, is you are going to just start asking questions about their problems, and you're going to let them complain and talk about their business, and you're just going to listen to them. That's the first half of this call. Okay. Ask really good questions. These are no longer qualifying questions. These are now what's actually the problem inside of your business. What have you done to try to fix this? Right? So these are the real deep questions. Let them tell you all of their problems. Okay. And here's where the magic comes. That's the first half of the sales call. The second half of the sales call, and this is the part we're going to show you. The magic is you're going to give them a presentation. You're going to not kill them with PowerPoint. All right. You're going to give them a presentation that already has their name, already has their business, and already solves every single one of the problems that they just mentioned to you 10 minutes ago, because you already pre-qualified them and you already made sure they had all this stuff. But they got to air out their problems to you, and they got to feel heard. And now they're going to know they were actually heard, because you're going to give them a phenomenal presentation showing them how your product or service solves all of those problems. If you've already pre-qualified them well, your presentation will probably already solve almost all of their problems. They might mention one or two problems you didn't think of. It doesn't matter, because you already mentioned so many problems that you're going to solve that you can just include those problems being solved in one of the services that you're going to give. Because you didn't think about it, but you probably are solving the problem anyway, because they're coming to you. You've already pre-qualified them. This is where the magic happens. And we'll share our screen and show you an example of this. Okay. We're going to show you how in one sales call, you get to manage expectations. You get to drive an insane amount of value to them. You get to upsell them, right? You get to do all of these in one thing, simply just because they feel heard. All right. So I guess we can share our screen now and show that. Drew, do you want to share it, or do you want me to share it?
If you have it up.
I think I do have it up, actually. Yep. Okay. Can you see this?
Yep, I see it. Cool.
Okay. So you got on the sales call with them. The first half of that sales call, as we said, is you were listening to them and you were hearing their problems. Okay. Now, in this case, let me see which one I pulled up here. Which example did I pull up? I pulled up website design. Okay. So I'm selling you a website. All right. That means your problems are either you don't have a website or you have a crappy website. You probably need leads. You probably need more customers, right? You probably need some brand awareness. These are probably the things that you need. So before I got on that call, I already wrote all these problems down for website design in general that every single person who needs a website probably has to deal with. They don't have the time, they don't have the money, they don't have the know-how. So I already addressed all of these problems in here so that it doesn't matter who I'm talking to. Okay? So now I'm talking to you. I just talked to Kramer for the first time ever, right? This is really our second time ever. It was really, really short, but I never heard any of his problems. And I just listened to him for 30 minutes and solved all of his problems. And I said, great, would you mind if I show you a presentation? He's like, yeah, sure. And I pull this up and he sees this screen and it says, you know, whatever your tagline is, scaling companies beyond their dreams. Let's go grow together. It's like, oh, that's cool. And then it comes here and it already has their name on it. And they're like, wait, what? I'm confused. You already have a presentation with my name on it. So it's personalized. So now they already feel personalized. Okay. Then you go in and we have a nice little pretty that video. It's like 1 minute video that shows you the point of websites. And then we have some of our reviews, right? So now we start building credibility. So I start telling them, hey, so here's some of our reviews, some of the things that we've done for people. Here's some of our past stuff, right? And you keep adding it. You have to keep updating this stuff. Okay. And then you tell them about the problem and you start mentioning some of the problems that they mentioned. Okay. Now, here you go. So you're having customer acquisition problems, et cetera, et cetera. I'm just kind of going here, right? And then you kind of just go, oh, companies have struggles. Yes, I understand. A lot of companies have that issue. A lot of companies struggle at scaling. They have that same problem as you. You're not alone. All right. And what we've learned is et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We have a 3-step process. This is just a template, right? So we design it first, then we build it. But we're not like any other website company. We don't just stop at building it. We send you traffic. That's how we're different. That's how we're going to solve your problems, because you said to me earlier that you're having a problem getting new leads and that you're not really having any brand awareness. I don't want you to just have a website that sits there and no one ever sees. So we're going to send traffic to you. And that's already included in this website price. I'm building value, right? How are we different? You don't just get a website. In your website, you're going to get SEO. We're going to give you some social media management. We're going to give you some publicity. We're going to give you some copywriting. We're going to give you some reputation management, right? This is included for 3 months for free when you purchase a website. Okay. So we're building value. We're building value. All right. Then I manage expectations. This is what it looks like when you build a website with us. All right. You're not going to go through everything. Remember, when the presentation, you can still be quick. You don't need to go through every single slide, right? I don't need to go crazy. You're just going to tell them what they need, and you're going to also manage their expectations. So don't worry, Drew. I'm going to send this to you after our meeting. But this is a roadmap of what it looks like to build a website with us. Our website has phases. First, we have the concept phase, in which you're just going to fill out your information. We're going to review it together, and then we're going to move into the mock-up phase. In that mock-up phase, we're going to start designing a mock-up for your website, and it's going to be one screen. All right. These are the things that you do. These are the things that we're going to do. Okay. So we're going to do an onboarding call. We're going to gather the resources, go over it. You're going to submit it. And then we're going to move to the next phase. And you can look at this at any time during any of the phases to see where you're at. So I'm explaining them the process. This is day 10 through 19. This is approximately how long it takes to do your process. Right. So now they know how long it takes. Approximately. I have a star here that says this timeline is an example. Managing expectations. Phase 4, what we're going to do after phase 4 is we're going to complete the project and we're going to optimize, we're going to do et cetera. And this takes approximately 27 to 32 days if we have a blah, 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 right? Here, then you go back. Oh, here's some projects we worked on. Here's some things we did in our past. And here's some testimonials. Keep building value. Just keep building value. You don't need to be a salesperson. If you do this, this is what I mean by the importance of a script. I don't need a script, I don't need to be good because I have a script or a guideline that I follow. And it's these pages every single time. And it slightly changes a little bit, but I never forget what I need to talk about because it's here. And I bring it back and I keep providing more value. So now I put more reviews and I put more testimonials. And this testimonial is specific to what they're interested in. So if they're interested in website design, these are website testimonials. And if they're interested in SEO, these are SEO testimonials, right? But you kind of throw some other stuff in there so they can see you do other services. And then you show some case studies and show you the results. Oh, wow, look, in 1 month, I was able to do from this to this, et cetera, et cetera. And this is what it looks like only after an initial report of step 2. So all we did was step 1 was optimizing these. These are the things that happen when you hire an SEO team. This is just after 1 month. Make them feel good. People like to show 6, 7, 8 months, but I love to show what happens after 1 month, because you can say, listen, you can manage your expectations and say, this is just from optimizing. These are things like that. This might not necessarily happen with you, but these are some of our better results. Keep managing expectations, but building value. And once again, we tell them a little bit about who we are, some of the things we've done, some of our accolades. We've been on podcasts and TV, done, I'm an author, right? Whatever you got, whatever you have, edify yourself. For anyone who doesn't know, edifying is a very powerful practice of always speaking another person up. Okay, so get used to that. If I talk about Drew is the best at, and then you mentioned what he's good at. Drew is a phenomenal website developer, and he's really, really good at lead gen. You should go talk to him about that. So if I ever mention Drew, period, you're going to hear me say those 2 things every single time. Every time. I will never mention Drew and not edify him. Okay? So you have a page edifying yourself or your team. And then this is just a little bit of value. Oh, LUD replaces all of these systems. What replaces all of these systems? It's the CRM. Go high level. You know what I mean? Go high level plus this, plus that, right? But I'm building value for them. They don't know. They don't know that this tool, right, can replace all these systems. So me simply giving it to them, they've never heard of it, is an insane amount of value. It's just an insane amount of value, right? So keep providing value. And that's actually one of the things we do for free. I was saying, give them something free and tangible. Okay. We like to sometimes give sub accounts on our Go High level as a free thing. Oh, if you sign up for us with SEO, as long as you're using SEO, we give you a free CRM for every month that you're using it. Okay. Free value without giving something up. Never lower your price, always add more value. Okay. Say, okay, customer support at your fingertips. We're going to take care of you. You can reach us out at any time. You can reach us here and here and here. These are all the things we'll do for you. We have a ticketing system. We have tech support, managing expectations. This is how you're going to reach us. You tell them about the ticketing system now. Live chat is for this purpose. Tech support is for this purpose. We actually also have a group where we go live every single week and teach you secrets like sales, Google My Business, and Map every single week, right? Do that here. This is where you do that. Okay. Right. And then once again, I did it again. More testimonials. Even if you only have 5, right? You could still make 3 pages with the 5 testimonials. Just split them up. And then you get to the price. Okay. So this is what it costs companies to do this stuff. You know, $5,000 to $10,000 for a media buyer. It can cost $160 an hour for a developer and $100 an hour per hour for a copywriter. So if you were going to try to hire all these individual people for a company, it's going to cost these things, right? Plus a CRM, a full build out for a CRM is going to be $37,000, whatever, right? So that's actually a Salesforce thing if you buy the max thing on Salesforce. But with us, we're going to give you this, plus 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 this, for only $5,000 plus a free CRM plus free SEO. The SEO is already calculated into the price. Okay. It's already calculated in a way, so I'm going to profit at the end of this. It's already done, like that's all calculated. So you don't just throw out a random number. This is figure it out, right? I know I can afford to do a $5,000 one-time thing because of the benefits I'm going to get afterwards by upselling, by doing other things, whatever, how much it costs us. It's already calculated. I already know exactly how much my profit is. So if I send this to 1,000 people and I have a 10% close rate, and I know that means I'm going to get 100 sales, and that's $5,000, and I know my profit every single time is 30%, I can tell you exactly my profit every single month for the rest of the year. That's why you do this stuff. You figure it out. Okay. And then finally, your guarantees. And we're not going to get into that because guarantees can get really long, but make a really good guarantee and understand that a guarantee has multiple sections. And this is a legal thing. It is not a guarantee to say, I will get you 30 customers this month. That's not a guarantee, right? I promise you will make more money. Not a guarantee. Okay. A guarantee is if this, then that. If not, then this. That's what a guarantee is. I guarantee you will make $50,000 this year, or you will receive this for free. That's a guarantee. If it doesn't have an or, if it doesn't have a what if, it's not a guarantee. So write a really, really, really powerful guarantee. This is how you do really good sales. You don't need a good salesman. If they have a great guarantee and they have a great value built in, and you show them all the testimonials and all the stuff, and they've already been qualified, and you already know they can afford your stuff, and you already know they need your stuff before you got on the call, what do you need a great salesperson for? You figured it all out. And then finally you get to the end, the most important part, Drew's part.
Send them the invoice while you're on the call and get them to pay before you let them go. I can't tell you how many times I've said it when someone else is taking a call. Yeah, send the invoice, ask for the sale.
Exactly.
Okay, ask for the sale. Don't be afraid to ask.
Don't be afraid to ask. So we take 3 ways of payment. You can do, notice I just broke it up. We have multiple ways to pay. We take debit, credit, or ACH. You can pay by milestone, or we take financing. What's interesting is it says we take financing, right? Look at what financing is we gave them. QuickBooks Capital, that's self-financing. Stripe Capital, that's self-financing. Discover Personal Loans, that's self-financing. I don't have the power to finance, but I still showed them that they have the power to finance, to buy my stuff, right? So, yeah, if you guys have any questions, obviously we can open it up to questions, but this is the thing. I think these are the secrets, right? Everyone's always trying to get a good salesperson. Or it's like, oh my God, how am I going to master sales? Don't master sales, master qualifying. Okay.
Yep. So and please, drop questions as well in the chat if you have any questions. So just to recap, Matt, so you're telling me that before the call, I can pre-qualify by asking questions. Doesn't matter who I'm asking questions to. It could be a sales rep, it could be a manager, it could be the owner. But we're going to get those questions in. We're going to figure out their problem. We're going to figure out if they're a good fit for us, like if they have the money in the first place, or their personality. Is it a good fit personality-wise? Before we even get on the first call. And then when we get on the first call, we're just re-qualifying all that information just to make sure we didn't miss anything. And if it, maybe I didn't do the qualifying, so I'm just checking for myself to make sure they vibe, right? But we're also making sure that it's not a one-leg sale. And what I mean by one-legger is, are all the decision makers present? So we're going to book another call to make sure everybody that needs to make a decision is on that call. And then we schedule that call. We do the presentation. We already know who they are. We customize it, personalize it, walk them through the slides real quick, show them social proof, build value, give them a solid guarantee, and then ask for the sale. Mm-hmm. That's the process. That's the entire process. Any questions?
Yeah, if you're saying,
I think you're muted. Yep. Nope.
Is that better?
Yeah.
There you go.
This is great stuff, guys. Excellent stuff, right? Start to finish, what it looks like, some of these qualifying questions. And I think it's a lot, it really comes down to like how you look at things, right? Just change your perspective. It's kind of the same thing, but just take a different attitude, different point of view. Guys, you'll thank us later for sure, right? Don't make this stuff complicated. make this very conversational, right? Simple, straight to the point, and how you can polish what you guys are doing right now. You can literally incorporate this and what you're doing now and try it and see how it'll make your life, 10 times easier.
Yeah, exactly.
Now we are coming to the 60 mark, guys. If you don't have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and call it for today. Any questions? Great stuff. This is definitely a rewatcher, right? Definitely, I would rewatch this, listen, to how Matt and Drew kind of tag team them and put it out there, and just it's the same, just incorporate it to what you have, polish it, polish your process, guys. Remember, don't go into a conversation, for the sale. Go into a conversation to give a solution and to pre-qualify, and the rest is easy. The rest is super easy, right? And this is why, like, we talk about niching down, right? You get to know the problems, you get to know your avatar, you get to know the lingo, you get to know the certain verbiage, right? And if you notice, Matthew, if you're a website designer, Matthew incorporated, I'm going to bring traffic, right? How is he going to bring traffic? It's no secret, guys. We're all in marketing. He already incorporated it into his price. He's going to do ads, some type of ads, right? And now here's the thing. If you're in the same niche, and if you're niching down, Matthew doesn't really have to almost figure it out, like what ad is going to work, right? I just need to get 1 or 2 or 3 calls. It's not even a lot. Can you get some in front of, let's say it's 10 calls. Can you close 1 or 2 of those people? Now, how much successful is your website built? In this example that we have, would it be? Man, you got them locked in. After 3 months, what is that lead, go high level? What does that CRM look like? Boom, now you got them locked in. Oh, you have a list? We can do, remember, in that process, he gave a solution to reputation management. All of a sudden, he went from 10 to 20 to 30 to 50 reviews. Organic, not paid for. Right?
Absolutely.
This is just a process of initial, like giving a solution, pre-qualifying. This is what the step looks like. This is what the value looks like. And you don't have to worry about the price, guys. I'm telling you, you don't have to worry about that price. It'll come up at the beginning, and they'll disqualify themselves.
Exactly.
Yep. And set the price for you. Figure out what you need to be profitable, right? So preset that before you even go into this. You just want to make sure that you're being profitable, right? We can have a whole entire class on how to be profitable.
100%.
But yeah, good stuff. So one last thing, join in the next 2 weeks. Oh yeah, you know what? I'm sorry. One other thing I wanted to drop before we left is we have updated a brand new course for the LinkedIn strategy. So if you want to take advantage of some of our secrets, I actually have a link. If you want to take our course, it's $197. I believe, right, Matt? Or $297. I'm sorry, $297. $297 one time. I'll give you all the secrets. So if you sign up to the dashboard for the LinkedIn, and then if you want to do it yourself, take that course. It'll give you everything you need to know.
Yeah, it's idiot-proof guide on everything you need to get new customers, build brand awareness, or fill up your newsletters using LinkedIn as an automation tool.
Yep, absolutely. And next course, I'm going to be unleashing a Instagram automation tool to you guys that you have probably not heard of, which was very, very hard to find, but I found it. You've been using it, been testing it. It works just along with your Facebook and your LinkedIn tools. So I'll bring that in the next class.
Yep.
Awesome, guys. I appreciate you. Fire again. This is a definitely rewatcher. I already put this stuff in the comments, Drew, within the group. Now, Drew, how do we get a hold of you? Can you put in your Facebook, or the best way to get a hold of you? Matthew, would you mind putting that in there? That way we can give access. And
Yeah, absolutely. So at the top of the thread, I did drop our calendar link. You can book a call with us at any time. We'd love to hear from you. But we can drop our Facebook profiles in here too, so just so you can reach out to us directly.
And yeah, we just created a TikTok recently, and we're starting to put some stuff on there. As he said, niching down. I'm a veteran. We're niching towards veterans, right? So I'm still teaching the same stuff I teach anyone, but now it just says the word veteran before everything. Okay, and I have stuff specifically for veterans, and I know how to talk to veterans. Hoorah, devil dog, right? Things like that, things that you guys don't know. Okay, and so I have a gigantic advantage, and that's the power of niching down. So yeah, feel free to follow us on TikTok, and he has all of those groups in there for you. Thank you guys so much for everything.
Yep.
all right, I appreciate you guys. Let me just copy this. This will be your last chance to get anything in there. I'm gonna put it in the
Veterans Business Club for TikTok. LUD
got it.
marketing.
Cool. So definitely a rewatcher for sure, guys. With that being said, guys, much love, much success, and I'll see you on the next one.
Ciao.
See you.